I have scheduled this for 3 questions today, and we'll see how that goes. If I have time for more questions, then I have a list that I've written from my discussions, so I will just refer to the list and keep going. But yeah, so the 3 questions we're going to be talking about today are, so the first one is, how can I get clients if I'm just starting out? The second question is, I'm on every social media platform. How come I can't get clients? That's a big one. A lot of people have that issue or feel like they have that issue, so I'm going to talk about that too. And the third question is how to grow my group or social media if I'm just starting out. So also a very common question, and I'll talk about that as well. Okay, so question number 1, how can I get clients if I'm just starting out? So there are 3 ways. There are, probably a million different ways that someone can get clients on or off social media. So what I've done is just kind of condensed it to 3 ways that work well for me and that I recommend, especially if you're starting out with no budget or low budget and you're, a one-person show doing everything yourself. These are kind of the ways that I found have worked well for me. So the first one is to, I'm going to say something you've probably heard already before, but I'm going to say it in a bit of a different way. Hopefully you will learn something from this still. So what I would recommend, first of all, is to join Facebook groups that have your ideal customer or client avatar in them, your ICA. And what you're going to do from there, so first of all, let's take it a step back. I find that a lot of people do join, some groups. They might join like 2 or 3 groups, and they'll, post their link inside the group. And of course, nobody comments, nobody even likes their posts, and then they get frustrated because, they spent the time to go into the different groups and post their link and nobody is responding, right? So first of all, and this is something that I see commonly with a lot of entrepreneurs, that if you don't have your Facebook profile set up and optimized in a certain strategic way, then it's going to be just that much more difficult for you to get people engaging and, kind of interested in you. So what I mean by that is I've seen a lot of and talked to a lot of entrepreneurs in this group in the past couple of weeks who, they're telling me, I met them in other groups. That's, like I said, it works for me. I have a good strategy going right now for leads, and I meet them in other, entrepreneur business groups. But I have to actually ask them what it is that they do, because just looking at their profile, I can't tell at all. I have no idea. And even worse, some of their profiles just look spammy. They look like fake accounts. So it's even harder then to tell if it's even a real person, if it's a bot, if it's a scam. So many people are so cautious of scams online now these days that, you really have to keep that in mind when you're posting things to your own social media, if it's set to public and other people can see it, right? So what I mean by optimizing your profile, like some people have said to me, well, this is my personal profile. I don't put anything personal on it because, that's my personal profile that I don't use for business. I beg to differ, because if you are using that profile to show up in business groups to try and get leads and clients and customers for your business, then that's not your personal profile, right? If it is, then you should be using something else to be showing up in those groups so that you are kind of promoting yourself already, right? So if you optimize your own profile before you go into those groups, even if people don't reach out to you immediately, they're going to be checking. If you are posting, value content in the group, things that people would be interested in, which is something I'll talk about in a bit, they're going to automatically check your profile to see what you're about, who's this person. Oh, wow, that was a great post that she made. Like, I want to see, what she's about and what she does. So they're going to check that out, okay? And depending what they see on your profile might dictate what happens next. So if they see on your profile, just as an example, if you are a money coach or some financial type of coach, if they see on your profile that you are a financial expert, you're a tax expert, a CPA, whatever it is, and you have the experience and all of that, and you have a Facebook group, for example, then they might say, oh, I'm going to join her Facebook group because her post was so helpful to me. She probably posts even more helpful stuff in her group. And they'll just automatically request to join your group without you having to talk to them or ask them to, or anything like that, or spam them your link. Okay, so these are the types of things that are the hidden benefits of optimizing your own profile. And by your own profile, like I said, I don't mean your personal profile. If you are dead set on keeping your Facebook profile personal and not using it for business, then that's perfectly fine. There are ways around that, however, which is what I do, because I don't like people seeing my personal things either, but it's kind of out of the scope of today's talk. You can ask me about that. I have a video I've done a while ago showing how to optimize your personal profile and keep your business posts and your personal posts kind of totally separate from each other, so that the public, and people who are saved on your business list aren't seeing your personal content, and vice versa. But that's another conversation. So, but if you don't want to do that, you still insist on keeping your profile personal, that's fine. But then create a business page that represents you or your brand, or find a way to do it so that you can have an optimized profile when you join these groups, okay? And especially don't look spammy. Like, don't put a stock photo as your own profile picture, for example. None of that, especially if you are offering a service. If you're a service business and you are the service, you're the one delivering the service, people want to know who they're going to be potentially dealing with, right? You have to have a certain level of trust with your prospects and your leads online in order for them to ever even pay you. So if you have stock photos on your profile image is a stock photo, your name, appears fake, or it's like small abbreviations of your real name, like, those aren't things that are going to instill trust in people that view your profile. So you need to make sure that whatever activity, business related activities that you are undertaking online, that you are presenting yourself in the best way possible and presenting your brand in the best way possible, right? So that's the first thing. Optimize your profile, and then when you do join groups strategically, okay? Have a plan for what you're going to do inside those groups, what you're going to post inside those groups, and also have a plan for what types of groups that you're joining. Excuse me. So just as an example, when I first started out and I discovered that there were business groups, business related groups, groups for entrepreneurs, and so on, oh my gosh, I think I went crazy. I was like searching Facebook, and I spent like so much time, just joining all of these groups. I typed in business and join, entrepreneur, join, not actually looking at what I was joining, right? So needless to say, once I, started actually going into these groups and having a look around, I realized that actually a lot of them are not useful for me. Like, they're not my ideal client avatar, my ICA. There's a lot of spammy posts in there and like zero useful content. Nobody's engaging. There's no discussions, no anything useful in those groups. They look appealing because, they had like tens of thousands of people inside of them, but tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people are useless if they're not the right people for you and for your business. If they're not the people you're specifically looking for, or in the location that you're specifically looking for, then they're not going to do any good to you or your business. And you're going to be wasting all of your time posting in those groups to nothing. I actually call those groups black hole groups, because they're just like a black hole. You post in the void and you don't even hear an echo. Like, there's nothing. Nobody comments, nobody likes. It's just the whole wall is like spam, 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 everybody posting about their group. Nobody's paying attention to what other people are posting. They're only focused on dropping their link and running. That's it. Those are not the kind of groups you want to be in, and those aren't the kind of groups that you want to waste your time in. Okay, as an entrepreneur, we have very limited time. A lot of people still have full-time jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, kids, all kinds of things going on. Use your time that you do have, especially if you have to grow your business organically and you don't have money for paid advertising and all of those things. Use the time that you do have and that you do spend online purposefully and intentionally, and have a strategy behind what you're doing. Okay, so make sure that you join quality groups that have actual engagement happening, where you know that other people are going to actually be seeing your posts. That's another thing about those black hole groups. The algorithm on Facebook works from engagement. So the more engagement that posts get, the more busy the group gets, and the more it triggers to Facebook to say, hey, this is a useful group, this seems to be a good quality group, I'm going to promote the group to more people that are like the members, so that more people can join, and they're going to promote the posts within the group to more of the members as well. So black hole groups where you're just posting, you probably will see, even if there's hundreds of thousands of people in the group, there's probably not much reach on the post because nobody in the entire group is engaging. Okay, so another thing to watch for and keep in mind, because you can see how many people have viewed the post and that in the groups. So yeah, make sure you spend your time wisely and look for valuable groups, and then also make sure that you are also one of the people who are providing value to that group. Okay, don't join a valuable quality group and then just spam your links into the group. Okay, I know that there are a lot of people that do that, and I question whether or not they even get any sales or interest or comments from that, because from what I see online, that never gets engagement. It never gets engagement, and you can't get business that way. Like, it's not the way to do it. So post valuable comment and actually contribute to the group that you're in. Okay, a lot of the times even the smaller groups tend to be more valuable than those tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of member groups, just because it's more intimate of a setting. There are people who actually get to know one another, so people will get to know you for whatever your product or service is. You're the go-to person for that, okay, and they'll remember you, so they can recommend you to others. And or if you have a product that some people really enjoy, they might recommend you to others. You can network with each other and collaborate. You might be able to find a use for somebody's services and so on. It's just so much more collaborative and valuable when people are engaging together and actually posting purposefully and intentionally, okay, instead of just dropping a spam link. No one's gonna buy. I don't say never. I never say never. But it's going to be really hard for you to get business if your strategy, your marketing strategy, is just dropping your link and putting the price and saying to come buy your stuff. So that's another thing. Contribute, engage, post valuable content, and then that way you can actually get into discussions with people in those groups, like I said. And then once you do, take it to the DMs. Take it to the DMs, ask them questions about their business, especially if they're your ICA. Start a conversation. Start a conversation, see what their problems are, see if you can help them. If you have a free resource you can give them initially, that would help them out. There's this thing called reciprocity is a word too, but it's a thing in marketing, a known thing. It triggers a sense in our brains that we need to reciprocate when someone does something nice to us. So if you offer a freebie to prospect, they're going to remember that, especially if it's something actually useful and valuable for them that they can take action on, get a good result from, or whatever that's helpful and useful. They'll tend to remember that. So especially if you follow up later, and the fortune's in the follow-up, get them in the DMs, see if you can help them in some small way, and then follow up with them later and see, start another conversation, see how you might be able to help them further. Like, that's how the magic happens, right? That's how the true networking happens. So that is, number one way, a great way actually, because it works really well for me, for you to find clients online. Okay. Now let me see if there's any questions so far, first of all. Oh, hey Ariana, how are you? How are you, hun? You love this group. I love hearing that. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss J. Hey. Okay. Hi, Avisha. Hi, Nayana. So many people joining. That's awesome. Okay. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments and I'll check once in a while. Okay. I'm going to be becoming a mental health coach down the road, and it is my passion. I love that. I'm so big on mental health. I love supporting mental health too. I myself have, depression and anxiety, which has impacted my business definitely. So I have a soft spot for people who are also struggling with mental health issues. That's great. It's so needed. Okay, so let's see. Optimize your profile. Oh, another tip for you. Yeah, it is amazing. Another tip for you for joining those groups, by the way, is you can also do a search within those groups for people who are looking for whatever product or service that you're offering. So I've actually found some leads that way, going into the groups that have my ICA, and then just going into not the big Facebook search, but the smaller search within the actual group itself, and posting a search. So like for me, I do a lot of, most of my clients are web design clients. So I'll post, need a website, or like website or web design and stuff like that, and then filter for the most recent and see, like, sometimes people will post asking for something or they need something, and for whatever reason Facebook hasn't, shown their post to the masses, and they've only gotten like one answer or zero answers. So pounce on those people and like send them a DM and say, like, I saw your post, in whatever group. Do you still need help? Whatever. Start the conversation, right? So that's another tip as well that has worked for me in the past. Yeah. So the second tip I would say, oh yeah. So if you're a service business, there are certain things that will work better for you. And if you're more of a product-based business, there are other strategies that might work better for you. So I kind of did like both. So if you're more of a service-based business, so you offer web design, graphic design, any type of like, hands-on service like that, then one thing that I would suggest is to join sites like Fiverr or Upwork. Hear me out. I actually have, I know of a few of them, but Fiverr and Upwork are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. If you want to know more of those types of sites, then just let me know in the comments and I'll look for those other ones. But Fiverr, Upwork, lots of traffic on there, so for sure join those. And I know a lot of people are like, Fiverr, it's like $5, services. It's a race to the bottom in the pricing, and no one's going to pay what I want to charge for my service. Hear me out. So one thing so when I first started, I also started on Fiverr and created a profile and got a few clients from there too. And I was on there for months with no traction, no activity, and I just heard crickets on there. What changed the game for me was creating an offer, not just like, I create a website. This is my website that, 5-page website on WordPress. This is the price. Everybody is like apples to apples on Fiverr, so that's the problem. When there's so many people who are selling the exact same thing as what you are, then it's like a commodity service, and people will just price compare, right? So how you can get out of that whole situation entirely is to differentiate yourself completely. So business can compete through pricing and through differentiation, and you always want to compete through differentiation. Price wars is just everyone's going to knock off $5 until nobody's making any money and it's not even worth being in business anymore. But if you can differentiate yourself enough from the other people who are on the platform or your other competitors, then price isn't such an argument anymore, right? So they're not looking at apples to apples anymore. They're comparing two completely different things, and you put yourself in an entirely different category. So for example, what I did myself on Fiverr, instead of like, I had, the offers of web design, I have like like social media templates, whatever. What I did was, okay, I have experience in course creation and creating platforms specifically for courses. So that's a bit more niche than just saying like, I design websites. Any type of website, I'll design any type of website for you. So I created an offer for specifically course websites. So learning management systems, specifically in WordPress. And then I took it a step further and I said, okay, I'm going to create a package for people who want to create a course online. I've created several courses. I've created courses and memberships on WordPress, on ClickFunnels, on Thinkific, on what else have I created on? I forget. But anyway, for myself and for clients. So I thought, why don't I like specialize in that on Fiverr and make a package? So I included like not just the course website with the membership area and the course content. I included like, you get X number of workbooks completed for you. You get like a graphics package. So like Facebook group cover images, if you need YouTube thumbnails, like Instagram posts or stories or whatever. Like I had some graphics package for social media graphics that were included that would be branded with the course branding. Like I added a bunch of things that like are common, necessities for people who are creating a course. And I got a lot of leads that way. And I got business that way also. I got clients through that. So you kind of position yourself as more of an expert that way. It's comparing apples to oranges that way, right? And so no one's comparing, like doing a direct comparison on your pricing because nobody else has that package. So how are they going to possibly compare? Are they going to sit there and go through, so-and-so has, X number of graphics for this price and like price match like each individual item? Nobody's going to spend the time to do that. They are going to see that, and it also elevates your status kind of in their brain because they'll see you, as the expert, right? Because she's specializing in courses. She must know what she's talking about. So the price must be worth the cost, right? The value must be worth the price. So that really helped me on those platforms. So if you're first starting out, differentiate yourself and that will set you completely apart. And that is like the best tip that I can give you for those platforms. Okay. Let me see if there are any questions. What the hell? I had no idea. About what? You had no idea about what? Awesome. I'm glad you find this group so valuable. Can we get an audit and maybe we can check you through the stuff for impressions and feedback? That's a great idea. Do you want me to audit? Because I'm happy to do an audit. Maybe I can do like other Facebook Lives specifically to audit profiles and give feedback that other people can learn from. That's a great idea. You just signed up for Upwork. We're still trying to figure out how to use it. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Smaller search inside the groups. Yeah, sometimes it's the smallest tips, right, that are so helpful. Oh, hey, Katie, how's it going? Glad you could join. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad that it seems to be helpful for you ladies so far. Okay, so now for product-based websites. So if you are product-based, then here's some tips for you. So again, differentiation, that is, a strategy that businesses, any type of business, can use. It's a helpful strategy for all businesses. So definitely try and think outside the box for how you can, differentiate your products from other products, whether you can create bundles instead of selling items individually, whether you can create themed items instead of just selling a single item. Like, you know, tumblers. I see tons of people like on TikTok selling tumblers. How can you maybe create tumblers for a specific niche market, right? Like that would love to have some funky or whatever, like types of tumblers for themselves. So like I've seen, just as an example on TikTok, I've seen one lady who had like a big TikTok following, and she made tumblers like with a true crime theme. So like all her tumblers had some type of like true crime, like, you know, theme, or like Halloween-y theme or whatever. And she had a lot of followers. It was super popular. Like that was a great idea. She loved true crime and like turned that into a business, right? So so try and think outside of the box and think of those types of ways you can differentiate yourself. And then also I would suggest doing some market research. So like, for example, find local promo groups that you can promote your products in. Local promo websites, a lot of, especially larger towns, cities, will have at least a few local promo websites. They may have free, you know, free tier. You might have to pay a little bit to join, but sometimes it is worth it, okay? Local promo websites and local boutique shops. I think a lot of people are focused sometimes on social media and like selling more on social media and getting customers through social media, that they don't think about that. But there are a lot of small shops, small boutiques, and that, especially like I said, in larger cities and stuff like that, that either specialize in local handmade products or consignment. They sell, you know, on consignment, and they rent out like shelving space or like rack space for local designers or local product makers to, you know, to sell their products there, stuff like that. So try and find some local little hidden gems like that where you can either sell them, you know, in bulk, or like rent a shelf or something and have your products featured. So especially like that's a great ROI, right? For someone who is a product maker, and these boutiques need to sell something, right? They need products. So, and a lot of the time they don't make their own stuff. So they're always looking for new things that they can feature in their shops. And, excuse me, if you make one sale to a boutique, it's going to obviously be worth way more money than just selling to an individual online who's going to buy the one tumbler, right? So try and think outside of the box and find these kind of hidden gems like that. Another suggestion for handmade items, excuse me, try and think of other small businesses who might benefit from whatever your product is, who might have a use for your product as like corporate gifts or employee gifts or client gifts or whatever, right? So just as a couple of examples that I had thought of, if you make candles, if you make handmade, you know, candles, it's super popular now for people to make like organic soy candles, this and that, whatever. Find some local motels in your area and, you know, make a like, you know, it doesn't have to be a fancy pitch or whatever, but like try and contact them, reach out to them and see if they would be interested in, you know, either sampling products, like if you make soap or whatever, or try and get that conversation going and see if there's a way that you can, you know, collaborate with them and they can use your products for their customers and their in their rooms and that. So that's one example. And realtors, mortgage agents, brokers, broker offices, like all those kind of businesses, they often get client gifts for when they close a sale, right? So when we bought our home, we got, I think, a bottle of champagne from our realtor. But like sometimes they don't know what to get people. They're, you know, so reach out to them and say like, do you have like a client gifts currently? If not, then here's what I can offer you. I have, you know, just get that conversation going, right? And see if there's a way that you can kind of collaborate in that way. So again, those are really great opportunities because the sales are going to be, first of all, in bulk, like larger purchases most likely, and ongoing. If they like your products and, you know, the service and all of that and delivery and everything works for them, then those are ongoing sales. So that's a great way to grow your business, especially. So think outside the box of different things like that that you could do, and different types of businesses that you can reach out to. Okay?